Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the new Young Lean album that dropped this year entitled Stardust. For those who are not familiar with Young Lean, he is a Swedish singer and rapper that's been active since close to the early 2010s. He's really built a cult following for himself over the years and has brought friends along with him for the ride, creating the musical collective that is now known as Sad Boys. He's got a very decent sized catalog, and Stardust marks his now fifth studio album, but he does have a handful of mixtapes under his belt as well. This album is not very long, close to about 12 tracks, and I will give my thoughts and highlights track by track, starting with the first one entitled Bliss, featuring FKA Twigs. This song is a very fun, guitar driven pop tune. The chemistry between Young Lean and FKA Twigs is very interesting here, and I do enjoy it. Twigs' vocals are playful, and the melodies that she sings are infectious, whereas, on the other hand, Lean's vocals are more laid back and lower in terms of pitch. I also enjoy the humming and sustained tones that we hear him singing throughout the song as well. The drum patterns that we have on this song are what I would describe as steady pop rock drums, if that makes sense. It's nothing too crazy, but it keeps the song moving forward. Lyrically, this song is about largely revolving around themes of lust, drug use, really just a hedonist lifestyle. I think that Twigs sums it up perfectly during the chorus as she sings the lines, "At night I pray to God you're good for me. I want your bliss on bliss, a little company. I only want it when it feels like this. I only want to feel the bliss on bliss." It's an extremely catchy intro for this album, and I know for a fact that I'm going to have it on repeat for the foreseeable future. Track number two, Trip. This song features a very magical intro that leads the listener into what I can describe as a quasi hyperpop track. The drum pattern here feels like your typical Young Lean track, but the synths that we have are very crunchy and bright. The drums are distorted a little bit. It's almost like there's some extra crunch, some oomph added onto the kicks and snares. Lean's vocal delivery feels like he's singing and rapping very quietly, but it works for the song. It's not overwhelming, and his voice lulls you in a way as the synths keep you entranced. That synth ostinato is very catchy. It's catchy as hell. And it makes me think of stars. It's very sparkly and it's very bright in the way that it sounds. It's also cool how Lean's hums were used as part of the instrumental accompaniment. His voice is distorted in a way that fits the mix. It's almost like his voice is being used as like a pad of sorts, if that makes sense. It's a beautiful and simple song, but I will admit that the instrumental does carry the tune. Lyrically, there's not much going on, but that is okay. I enjoy the song for what it is. Track number three, entitled Gold. This song has a very quiet instrumental featuring subtle gated synths and a drum pattern that feels like it's walking along at a very relaxed pace. This subtle instrumental gives Lean more space to flex his unique vocal style and wordplay. Lyrically and sonically, it's a melancholic tune where Lean speaks on experiencing internal struggles that never really seem to end. And despite all his success and being in a seemingly high place in life, he's not exactly what we would consider happy. He describes having troubles that follow him wherever he goes. For example, towards the end of the song, we hear him rap, "Scar tissues on tissues, and I got scars, cannot heal them, but it's a sad song." That energy just kind of reverberates throughout this song, but also the album as a whole. Track number four, entitled Stars to the Rainbow, featuring Boy Digital, who is a frequent collaborator with Young Lean. There's a lot of humming on this tune, a lot of humming, especially at the intro. But the instrumental itself is very sparkly and spacious. I love what was done with the transition that's halfway through the song. It feels like the mix shrinks in the blink of an eye, and it's awesome to experience. A lot of the vocal delivery from Young Lean feels like he's trying to do his best to sing with a falsetto delivery. It's up to the listener whether or not he's successful in doing that. But I think that he manages to make it sound unique enough and interesting, and the melodies that he sings on this song are also nice. Boy's vocals sound rawer than usual than from what I'm used to, but they do sound very cool. And I enjoy towards the end of the song, there's like samples of birds singing and nature sounds. It's very nice. The lyrics conjure up scenes of being fixated on the sky with the imagery of the stars and looking up at a rainbow. And we've also got themes of love and healing present throughout this song as well. Moving on to track number 5, entitled All the Things. Lean's vocals are very raw on this song. I enjoy the intro, but once the beat comes in, young Lean's vocals sound really out of tune, and it messes with me the first time I was listening to it. I kept trying to figure out why the vocals sounded off, and I have not been able to come to a conclusion. But I just know it's slightly off-putting. But shortly after this verse ends, we've got a fun build-up, which leads into like an electronic section. You can think of it as like a drop in an EDM track. It caught me off guard, featuring a punchy drum pattern, a sparkly ostinato synth melody, and Lean's vocals. He's kind of like chanting the lyrics here. Elevates the energy of the drop. Also, I like this drop section a lot. Um, it's a nice change of pace from like the intro, the first verse of the song. And on this song, he's talking about a moment in time with someone who's no longer in his life. We hear Lean open up with the lines, "I would take it back if I had more time. I would kill for you. I don't want to see you die." While the song can feel bittersweet, there's also glimmers of hope, a little bit of happiness in there as well. Moving on to track number 6, entitled Lips, featuring Skrillex, of all people, random. This song is undeniably sexy, as Lean opts for a more sensual and intimate vocal delivery. It's almost as if he's whispering into the listener's ears. Some people might not like that, but I think it sounds good. The production on the song complements his vocals, since the instrumental doesn't really distract us from the vocals at all. It's a spicy tune that makes me feel like I'm in a club and I've got like fuzzy thoughts, barely keeping it together, and I'm starting to see double. It's time to go home. The beat is subtle and danceable and is full of groove. And lyrically, we've got scenes of being with someone that you lust over, sharing intimate moments together while having the time of your lives. Is very hedonistic. Track number 7, entitled Paradise Lost, featuring Antoine. This is a slower and more melancholic song compared to what we've heard so far, featuring a simple plucked guitar sample. There's also a notable lack of any percussive elements on the song. There's no drums on it at all. This forces the listener to rely on the vocals to guide them throughout the song, which works for it. We've got a more reflective tone on the song, and we hear themes of self doubt and uncertainty as well. My favorite lines from Lean read, "I can't be a role model. My life's nothing to dream about. Ever since a kid, can't keep jack shit inside. Have to let it out, and guess I can be whatever you want me to be. Figment of your imagination, not like you." I also thoroughly enjoyed Antoine's verse, as a good 90% of it is in Swedish. Uh, I can translate some of it, but he just directly opens up with, I don't speak Swedish, but I can do my best. Jag har minnen jag vill radera. Nagra vapen jag kanske maserar. Mina bröder blev dömda till flera. Mina drömmar är glömda jag leda. Which loosely translates to, I have memories that I want to erase. I've got some guns that I'm holding on the side, hiding. My brothers have been sentenced to several years. My dreams are hidden, but I'm still looking. Moving on to track number 8, entitled Summertime Love, featuring, again, Skrillex on production, and also Blade, or Bladey as some people know him, and Echo 2K. This song is so bubbly, the production is a lot of fun, and I love the vocal melodies that each vocalist brings to the track. That makes the song way more memorable, way more catchy. They all have distinct vocal styles, and I think that they mesh very well on this track in particular. This is not the first time, definitely not if you're familiar with Sad Boys, not the first time that they all come together on one song. And I think that on this song in particular, it works exceptionally well. I also enjoy the fact that each vocalist brings different melodies to the song, since here we get to hear them blend these different melodies at different times in different ways, thus creating a beautifully layered listening experience. I also love how the instrumental seems to turn down to a low rumble, very quiet, around the second half, which in turn gives the vocals plenty of space to breathe. Skrillex did what he needed to do with this instrumental. It's not too heavy on the drums, but he does provide plenty of fluff with the synths, which provide a simple groove uh, that creates really a tasty foundation for the vocals. Thematically, it feels like we're in for a ride with the Sad Boys crew, moving into an upper echelon that might have previously been unobtainable. I love each vocalist's word choice and flows, and I think that everything blends together in a fluid way. It's beautiful work. Track number 9, entitled Nobody Else. I'm in love with the tonality of this song and the synth chords and melodies that we have here. They're genuinely beautiful. The drums feel muffled and provide just the right amount of rhythm. The instrumental itself makes you feel like you're floating peacefully across the cosmos. Lyrically, it's somber and pained as we hear Lean describe some of his personal struggles. Emotionally, he finds himself in a liminal space. We hear him describe, for example, in the chorus, tunnel vision on me, that's what I've been on. Can't worry about nobody else. I can't look forward. I can't look back. You wishing on somebody else. I'm trying hard, stay out of problems. Now I only got problems with myself. He's speaking on a specific experience that I've personally felt before in the past. And I would describe it as a strange blend of apathy and numbness. It's not a lot of fun. Moving on to track number 10, entitled Waterfall. This is another very beautiful track, and it stands out due to Lean's vocals. He's holding these sustained tones, and there's plenty of reverb thrown onto them, and it makes for a gorgeous sound. The melodies that Lean is singing are catchy, of course, and the twinkly synths that provide accompaniment on the song are unique in how the timbre kind of sounds like an electric, maybe like an electric harpsichord, something like that. It's very plucky, but it works really, really well. Thematically, it seems that Lean is speaking on someone he shared an intimate relationship with in the past, and he's slowly learning to let them go. We hear him repeat in the chorus, at the waterfall, right in the sunset, let's get undressed, let it fall away, far away from here. It feels like an incantation, if you want to think about it that way, almost like you're releasing that person from your life while cherishing the memories that you share together. Moving on to track number 11, entitled Letting It All Go. The synth chords that play throughout the background of the song remind me of maybe like a Philip Glass or a John Cage piece. It's a beautifully simple melody that's almost hypnotic in its repetition, and the tonality is beautiful. The instrumental is equally simple, consisting of just really that synth and Lean's vocals. There are some hums that are used to add a sense of depth and space to the track, but Lean's rapping is what really keeps the listener grounded. There's also no drums on this track, so the groove of the song lies in the subtle saw bass that feels muffled that we hear make appearances throughout the song. It's playing a syncopated rhythm that gives the song some bounce, some groove. And lyrically, Lean speaks on a strange emotional place, one where you're not sure where you're going, but you're releasing everything that crosses your path as you move forward. He describes different situations and sensations that have brought him pleasure, but the constant refrain of the song serves as a reminder to the listener that none of these things are permanent. Lean sums it up best when he sings, many tunnels throughout my life, nothing's wrong and nothing's right. I keep traveling through time, I keep traveling through the night, letting it all go. It's a beautiful and haunting piece. That's the best way I can sum it up. And finally, the album closer, track number 12, entitled Visions. Uh, Sonically speaking, this is a very simple outro. It feels like it's cold and barren, akin to a frozen tundra. Lean delivers a handful of decent bars, but I have to admit that his flow here can feel a bit clumsy, or almost like it's stumbling or stunted at certain parts, especially in the main verse. I noticed it immediately, but it's not bad. It just is noticeable. But one could chalk it up to being a stylistic choice. Um, the outro of the track itself is especially gorgeous. I think that his singing sounds a lot better on this song compared to other parts of the album. But that outro of the song is hypnotic. I mean, you've got like this synth that creeps in and it starts enveloping Lean's vocals, and it blends in a very serene way. It's beautiful. Overall, I think that this was a decent album from Young Lean. There were some surprises that I heard in terms of production choice, like the songs that Skrillex was featured on. But most of the time, I would say that a lot of the themes that we have on the album are consistent with what you can expect to hear from Young Lean. The pacing on the album is solid as well. It doesn't really the project as a whole doesn't really overstay its welcome. It's really just sitting close to a little bit over 30 minutes in length, so it's really not that long. I'm genuinely interested in hearing how Lean may continue to develop his sound and artistry moving forward. It's clear to me that he's not afraid to take more experimental risks, and I do respect him a lot for that. If you have taken the time to listen to me talk about Young Lean and Stardust for the past however many minutes, I genuinely appreciate that. And if you have some music that you are dying to share with somebody, you can definitely send that my way because I will definitely take the time to listen to it. And if you want my feedback on it, I can certainly provide that as well. Just let me know. And yeah, if you've taken the time to watch up until this point, I genuinely have to thank you. And I hope that you have a very great day.